Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time since I made a video. I've just been very busy with uni work and loads of other things, but I've decided to come back and make this video, and hopefully throughout the quarantine I'll have some more time to make some more videos for the channel. This video has been very highly requested by a lot of people. I've had so many DMs on like Instagram and Facebook and all these things of people asking me about like the intricacies of studying as an Erasmus student at the Sorbonne. And I know it's ages ago since I was there, because I've been at Warwick now for the past like 6 months, but everyone keeps asking me, so I thought I'd make a video of everything I know, and then I can direct people to this video if they have questions, and that way all the info is in one place. So this is about the actual studying, not about accommodation or anything. For that you can go to one of my previous videos that has more information about accommodation and kind of living in Paris, but this one is just about the actual studying itself. So for your department, when you're studying, you will have to choose a UFR, which is like the department that the main department that you'll be studying in. So mine was Littérature, française et comparée, which is French and comparative literature, because I enjoy literature and I wanted to study that. You can basically choose anything, at least from Warwick. When you're going abroad, you can study whatever you want as long as it's in French. So you pick your like main department, but that doesn't mean that you are tied to that department. If you want to do one module in a different department, you can do that. So yeah, that's like your main thing. So you pick your main department. Then within the department you have to choose modules. But that doesn't come before a lot later, and I've had quite a lot of people messaging me that they're stressed because they don't know how to choose modules and things, but they're not going to the Sorbonne before September. So, and it's April right now. You don't need to do it. You choose your modules when you're physically there. So as long as you know what kind of department you want to be in, because I think you have to sign that on your learning agreement, then you're fine. You don't need to choose your modules yet. However, I will run through it so that all the information is in one place. So for the modules, there's loads of different modules that you can choose from. I took all mine from the French and comparative literature department, so this is going to be very specific to that. But the modules have different ECTS points for them. So you have to do 30 ECTS points, which are basically like CATs in England. So the kind of the points that are attached to that module, the amount of points that you get for doing that module. But in the Sorbonne, they're very varied. So there are some modules that have 3 ECTS points and others that have 10. So as long as you make them add up to 30, because that's how many you need per semester, so you do 60 overall, as long as you make them add up to 30 for each semester, then you're fine. You can do whichever ones you want as long as they add up. Yeah, then you just work out, you go through the booklet that you get given when you're there. You get given a booklet of the modules you can choose, and then you go through and add them up and make sure that they add up to 30 or thereabouts. You can do like 28 or 32 if that's how they end up adding up. You go through and choose them. Obviously you want to choose ones that you enjoy as well. When you have a module, you will have basically like lectures and seminars. So the lectures are called Cours Magistraux, which is, they shorten to CM. So if you see CM, that's Cours Magistraux, which is lecture. And the seminars are Travaux Dirigés, which is TD. So Travaux Dirigés and Cours Magistraux. And that's how your classes are divided up. So for the modules that I chose, the first one was Technique et langage des médias. I found that the professor for the Cours Magistraux was really nice, really cool. I enjoyed everything that she said and her classes were very interesting. But for the TD, I found the professor quite difficult to get along with. I know that does affect it quite a bit. It's a very interesting module, but he was just mean and I didn't like that. But overall it is an interesting module, and it's not sure that you'll get the same professors as I did. Then there is Littérature et cinéma, so literature and cinema, which is a very interesting module. I really enjoyed that, and it actually fed into a module that I did at Warwick this year. So that's very interesting that they can kind of complement each other, which is the whole point, I suppose. So that was, studied some French cinema that had been influenced by literature that had come before it. And I really loved that module, and I got quite good grades in it, and the professor was amazing, and I can highly recommend it. So go and take that module. Then there is La littérature francophone. This one was difficult for me, and I think it was difficult for all the Erasmus students that I know that took it. It's francophone literature, and on paper it sounds super interesting, and I'm sure that it was really interesting and really important, but it was super difficult to follow as somebody who doesn't have French for their first language, because you're studying French dialects and stuff all through French, and I just found it super difficult, and so I maybe wouldn't suggest that module for an Erasmus student, just because it was very difficult to follow unless you're very confident in your French. Then I had Littérature et Culture, which was quite an interesting one as well. What did I say? Yeah, it was interesting, but it was quite hard to follow as well, and the teacher did a lot of kind of talking at you. So I just ended up zoning out for a lot of that one. Then there was probably my favourite module that I did, which was called Ecrire et penser la fiction, so writing and thinking about fiction, and it was fantastic. We studied some really cool texts, and it was both, as the name suggests, reading and writing fiction, so you got to do some fiction writing yourself and get that marked, and that was really cool, so I would highly recommend that one. Then for 2 semesters I did, well, for 1 semester I did Pratiques et Écriture journalistique, and then the other one I just did Journalisme, and they both had the same professor whose name was Martine Lavaud, and I would very highly recommend her classes. She was super cool. There were lots of like interactive projects. It was like smaller classes that came together to kind of a lot of working together to create publications and write articles, and I really loved her classes, so definitely go and sign up for any classes by Martine Lavaud. Then I did Littérature classique pour Lettres modernes. I really liked the professor for this class. He was very supportive of international students, always explaining things that we may not have gotten, like idioms and things. So I really liked him. And it's funny because my grades completely directly reflect which classes I enjoyed and which ones I didn't, and which teachers I liked and which ones I didn't get along with. So yeah, I would highly recommend that class as well. Then I also had a class called Littérature de la photographie, so literature about photography, and that one was quite a difficult one to follow as well as an Erasmus student. It was very challenging because a lot of the texts were very dense and difficult to follow. I think even for the French students found it difficult. It was interesting, but it wasn't my favourite one. And then finally I did one module called Langage du cinéma, so it was a module that was focusing on British or English Gothic cinema, which was a completely different kind of very contemporary module, which I really enjoyed, and it was also actually taught in English. So from Warwick we were allowed to choose like 1 or 2 modules that were taught in English if we wanted to, and I didn't realise that this one was, but it was, and it was very interesting, and it was probably the easiest one to follow because it was in English. So I would recommend that one as well. The professor was really cool and the classes were just very interesting. So that was a little overview of all the modules that I did. I will write them down in the description or something so that you can take a look if you do want to research the ones that I did more. So yeah, when you're picking your modules, I would say make sure that it's something that you really enjoy, because that changes the whole game. Studying at the Sorbonne is a very, very independent thing. So a lot of the classes are you're very detached from the lecturer. It's not like, even in the seminars, like the Travaux Dirigés, it's still, you're talked at most of the time. So I would make sure that it's something that you want to do and work on in your own time, because otherwise you're not gonna survive. It's very, very different to English university teaching. But I would very highly recommend the experience of studying at the Sorbonne as an Erasmus student. I really, really, really loved it so much, and yeah, I would say go for it, definitely. You can always contact me or write comments in the description, or go onto my Instagram, because I always do little posts in my stories about what you want to see or questions that you might have, so that way you can contact me and ask me any questions. But I hopefully have covered most of the academic side in this video, and that way you can just be directed to this one if you have any questions about it. So yeah, let me know what else you would like to see, or any other questions you have, or any other videos that you want to see on my channel. And definitely go and check out my friend Alicia's Instagram page, Ginger and Dot. She is the one that has made my profile picture on my page and my header, and I absolutely love them. She does all these little illustrations of people. I've known her for like 15 years or something now, it's crazy. So yeah, definitely check out her page, because I absolutely love her work. And yeah, go and give her a follow, give me a follow, like, subscribe, check out all my other videos, and just stay safe during your quarantine, stay home, and look after yourselves.